Iran. Mhm. Yeah, so Iran. We're not going to be talking about that today. If you can see the screen, then you'll know what I'm referring to. We're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about just, you know, Iran, you know? So, basically, like, where do we start out? So, like, there, once upon a time in the Middle East, there was Iran. It was existing. You see, India is like somewhere like British controlled India is like I have what was called the Indian subcontinent is right here, like right here, fam. Oh no, it's like right here, fam. This is like modern day Pakistan, and like um British had that, and we're like, this place is pretty close. And Russia's also pretty close because this was that during the days of the Russian Empire. They used to border Iran. Yeah, Russia used to be bigger. I know. Um, anyways, so like Iran. Well, you see Britain, Britain and Russia. Well, after many, many different years, eventually, they were like, you know what? Why don't we just, kind of cut Iran into thirds? Well, maybe not thirds, but like into like three pieces, and that the northern part can be Russia's sphere of influence, and the British part and the southern part can be the British sphere of influence. Did they ask Iran about this? No way, Jose. No. They, you know what would have happened if they asked Iran? Iran would have said, no, stop it. So they didn't ask Iran, and they just kind of did it. Um, so yeah, that was like uh British and Russia, like they occupied like this was like especially and it was heightened and a heightened influence and heightened influence happened during World War One. Then the Russian Revolution and like the Russian Soviets were like, meh, we're leaving. So they left, which left Britain, the superpower, controlling Iran. Then some stuff happened. Then World War II, and you see, okay, it's kind of big oof for them. For like the majority of like up until like after World War II, like all these different superpowers wanted to keep gobbling them up. During World War One, like the Ottoman Empire, which is now Turkey, like the Ottoman Empire was like right here, like all along here, and also modern day Turkey. So there was some, little tiny bit of invasion. There was an invasion of Iran, and they're like gobble 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 gobble. And then Britain was like, no. So the heightened stuff that happened. So in the First World War, they were like, we need a superpower we can ally ourselves with that isn't anywhere close. So they chose Germany the first, but like Russia and Britain were like, how about you don't choose Germany and you just stay where you are? Anyways, yeah, that happened, and then World War II, Iran had a lot of pro-German sympathies. So the Soviets and the British were like, no, stop. And then they invaded Iran completely and totally, crushed its military, and like, smush. Yeah, they didn't really get a say in the matter of being invaded or not. They were invaded. Quite sad. Then World War II ended. Soviet occupation time. Like, the British were like, yeah, fine, we'll leave now, since everybody's so anti-colonial these days. This was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This was like the anti-colonial time. Like, colonialism, like, got really unpopular. But the Soviet Union was like getting into full swing. They were like, "Meh. Well, we're already here. So I think it was like around this space they tried to make a communist as much as the Soviet Union could be communist. That's a topic for another time. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Anyways, they tried to make a communist state here or somewhere in this part, and then eventually, uh, they left. So Soviet occupation time. Sorry, my computer kind of broke. Anyways, so Soviet occupation time. Bye bye. And then during the 1950s, Iran's new democratically elected and widely popular Prime Minister Mohammad Masa I'm going to I'm sorry, Mossadegh Mossadegh Mohammad Mossadegh spearheaded legislation which in 1951 nationalized the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company (AIOC), freeing Iran from British economic domination. A history of imperialism in Iran. The government of Prime Minister uh, Dr. Mohammad Mossadegh 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 granted women the right to vote in the municipal councils of 1952. Women were also given equal rights with men when a new social insurance code was ratified by Majlis by the Majlis by the Majlis I'm sorry, in 1953, which also gave women maternity leaves and benefits and disability allowances. In return, women supported Dr. Mossadegh strongly, as in the demonstrations of July 21st, 1952, 1331 in Iran's calendar, Iranian women and the struggle for democracy. Also, I heard I think it's called Nowruz. I didn't plan for this to come out now, but like uh Happy Nowruz. Wait, let me look at what the holiday is called. This is like kind of saying Happy New Year the day after. So, but like, anyways, Happy Nowruz. Anyways, so yeah, look at this. Look at all this good stuff. Democracy, women's rights, uh, what else? Freeing themselves from British economic domination. Nope, we don't need to cover anything else. We don't need to talk about anything else. Like you see, like this, no, like they controlled Iran's oil industry, and that wasn't really Pog. The people in Iran wanted to do things for themselves. They wanted their they wanted their voices to be heard. People of Iran wanted rights and wanted wanted to control their destinies. And Britain was standing in the way, so they kind of nationalized the oil industry. Not really anybody's business. This was like, um, this was an oil company inside Iran, but that's besides the point because then everything changed. Then everything changed when America attacked. The British government was like outraged and asked for US assistance after Iran broke off negotiations regarding Britain's control over their oil resources. Here's the thing, the stuff was in Iran. This was like their stuff. So it was kind of exploitation. Well, not kind of, it's exploitation for Britain to just go around being like, mine, 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 mine. But that's, anyways. What followed was an Anglo-American backed coup in 1953. Uh, right when the same year the new social insurance code was ratified. Big oof. Big oof. Anyways, what followed was an Anglo-American backed coup in 1953 that deposed the democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran and restored the sweeping monarchical powers of the Shah. Because all this time before, until like um here in the 1950s, it was Shah, dictators, yeah, it was just the Shah. Oop, I went too far. Anyway, um, uh, they basically put the CIA led coup was conducted by senior officer Kermit Roosevelt Jr., the grandson of Teddy Roosevelt, and would signal the beginning of a period of American neocolonialism in Iran. So we have this democracy, women's rights, Iran taking over their own destiny, and then we have, well, Britain was kind of mad about that, so they asked their big pal, the U.S., America, to go get rid of that. So Kermit, oh my God, Kermit the Frog. I didn't know you were grandson of Teddy Roosevelt, and I didn't know you were the head of the CIA. Kermit the Frog is canceled now. Anyways, I'm just kidding. Anyways, Kermit Roosevelt Jr. Okay. Kerm, Kermit, okay. So Kermit Roosevelt Jr. Ted, Teddy, Teddy's grandson was just being like, so Iran's canceled. Iran's democracy's canceled now. Uh, only Shahs are valid. I shouldn't laugh. This is really sad because it went from this, uh, you know. Anyways, then there was heavy westernization, which some may say is a good thing and some may say is a bad thing. I feel like forcing a culture to change. Like westernization is a neutral thing. Like it's not. Westernization doesn't always mean making someplace better. It just makes it more like Western countries, which doesn't always mean better. But anyways, there was also more poverty and a lot more political repression and also secret police. Then in the 70s, the people got fed up, and when the Shah left for vacation, the revolutionaries took over the government. This is why dictators don't leave on vacations, guys. They leave, and then a revolution happens while they're away. The people voted in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and big for them, political repression continued because the person they revolted around, not revolted around, the person they put up in the revolution, like the person at the center of it, was kind of a hyper religious person. You have to see, though, that these people were under brutal political repression. So any chance to get rid of that they took. And unfortunately for them, big political repression continued, and Iran is the way it is now today, and the rest is history. We could have had democratic Iran, and instead, Kermit the CIA frog was like, nah. Remember to like and subscribe. Goodbye.